Fire Escape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. Here we are in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And what we have here is a fire escape that is in need of repairs. Fire escape, in order to pass, must pass one of two requirements. Must pass a load test, and it is not ready for a load test. Too many original hardware, a lot of rust in the connections. Or it must pass a refurbishment that will give a certified guarantee in lieu of a load test. So let's talk about the first two things. Must be structurally sound, must be kept painted in order to pass inspection. This fire escape does need a full paint job. The paint job on this fire escape, it is older than 1978, so anybody touching this fire escape must be a licensed renovator. Most contractors, painting contractors, building contractors, iron contractors, all have what's called a renovator's license, an EPA registered firm, and they have EPA registered renovators that they know how to deal with fire escapes that have lead, anything older than 1978. Presumed to have lead, so it must be handled so that they know what to do with all the chips from the scrapings. Number two, EPA does not allow you to weld anything on this fire escape. This fire escape is all bolted anyway, so there's no need for welds in that. All the connections on this fire escape are bolted and or riveted, so there's no welding allowed. The EPA doesn't allow. The fines are over $35,000. Structural. Let's talk about the structural. The fire escape is basically all original hardware. I'm trying to find a couple of instances where it has been refurbished, and usually in a 50 to 75 year life, what I would have and I would see these treads all rebolted by now, which they have not been. I would see some of the supports rebolted by now, which they have not been. I would see some of the support connections, corner posts, rebolted by now. In 50 to 75 years, it is common to see those things. I have not seen. So this fire escape is not ready for a load test, and it is not certified. It needs a refurbishment in order to get to a certification. With that certification, it is up to the building official to decide whether or not he wants to order a load test. But normally, once a fire escape is certified and refurbished and fully painted, a load test is not normally required. But again, it's at the discretion of the building official. So let's talk about the things you need to do. Every corner, change the bolts. So all the major structural, which is corner posts on the rails, not the rivets. These rivets, these pickets, you don't have to worry about. If these rivets are good and the bars are good, you don't have to rebolt these or do anything on these. But on the corners, all this hardware must be swapped out. All that hardware must be swapped out. All this corner here must be swapped out. Here too. This also, corners must be swapped out. This rail must be attached properly. It's rotting into the building, so you probably need a new attachment here and a new attachment down below. Let's go down the stairs. 100% of these treads need to be rebolted. All the connections are original hardware square. 100% rebolting of all these connections here, full of rust. It takes over 25 to 50 years to grow this much rust. New bolts. These rivets can stay if they're in good condition. Just wipe these clean. I would silicone shut them, but these rivets you don't need to deal with. But the platform, both that one and the one all the way down there, needs to be rebolted. So the major superstructure needs to be rebolted, but not necessarily the minor structural does not need to be rebolted if they're in good to excellent condition. 100% refurbishment, all treads 100%. So all original hardware, all original square. You got nothing but rusty tears coming down on all of them. Original hardware, that's what square head bolts look like. Those are all 50 to 75 years old, and typically in a fire escape of this age, these treads have been normally swapped out by now. 100% of this entire platform needs to be rebolted. The framework of the platform, those two need to be changed, but not all these rivets holding the flats all the way across. The feet to the stringers, rebolt 100%, clean them of all the rust, silicone shut. Every one of these connections needs to be shut. New tie backs. Fix. Rebolt. Seal. Scrape and paint. 100% of these treads need to be rebolted. As you can see, the connections are pretty bad of the stringers. 100% of the ties. Anything that's a welded connection like this one is, you just need to throw in a quick bolt. Put a bolt through here, a bolt go through the other side, and that way I don't have to verify this weld anymore as soon as I put a bolt all the way through. The feet are sitting on Normally you want to put an angle clip down there. You can't just have them rest the way they are right there on a piece of wood. As soon as you get any freeze and thaw, any snow, it'll eat that or it'll push that away through freeze and thaw. So you need a standard angle clip like that, but not, you can't leave any rust inside like there's right there. You can't leave any of that rust, okay? Let's look up above. You got to do all the spalling cement. It's got to be fixed. You got to verify the through bolts. Now those through bolts go into the building, so you need to basically go in and verify that the plate on the inside is in still good condition, and then you need to seal it from above so that that water's not rotting through. And there's a through bolt over there, I believe, you have to verify. That's in pretty bad shape. Okay, so all supports, re-bolt. This over here is another through bolt situation. You need to verify that through bolt inside. Verify that through bolt inside, and that's just verifying that on the inside it's got a plate on the opposite side. If that's going to take too much, or you can't because it's a finished wall on the inside, one of the other ways to basically nullify the need to verify that inside the wall is put a leg here. Put a leg here to the ground, put another leg there to the ground, and you don't need to verify that into the wall. Same thing here. If you want to transfer this load, you want to create some sort of leg here to the ground here, and some leg up there to the roof line, you can basically nullify some of the need to go back in and verify some of those connections. This looks like a masonry wall brick, so this might be, you might be able to get away with doing an epoxy bolt. So if you can't get in and verify and you want to do an epoxy bolt, a Hilti bolt 8 to 12 inches deep into the wall, and basically keep the original but make a new connection, make that the primary. That's another way. So verify and or duplicate the connection when it comes to through bolting so that this piece is self-contained and self-supporting. As you can see, all original hardware there. This fire escape has never seen any refurbishment in its lifetime. This basically feeds from the restaurant area here. There's a door right there. Out here, this is a catwalk system. The fire marshal has asked to put in a barrier so nobody falls down to there. Usually this is requiring a catwalk system of some kind. It could be the metal or steel, or if the building official allows, this fire escape can stay just walking on this roof, but again at the consent of the fire official. Coming out this door, coming out to here. Again, barriers have been put up so that people don't fall off the roof, which is what you got here. You got a little restaurant area right there. So again, they should walk out here. This can either be the way it is if the fire marshal approves it, or you need a catwalk made out of wood and or steel that feeds to this fire escape. Now this fire escape system needs to have the fire escape refurbished as well. This is very similar to that fire escape down there. Same time frame that it was built. A couple things you need. A couple more lines in here so that in case a child was to fall, you'd never fall through the gaping holes. You need both sides of that done. Let's take a look at any and all connections that are welded. You need to bolt the connections to verify, so that way we don't have to do any weld verification. You can just put a clip here and bolt, and that way you eliminate the need to verify the welds. So all welds can be verified or nullified by putting in a bolt. As soon as you put a bolt through there, you're good. The welds stay. Put a bolt through there, the weld is good. Connections, again here. As soon as I put a bolt through there, that weld, I don't have to verify it anymore. Same thing here. You know, basically new bolting here that's required, new bolting here. Look at all this rust that's over here. All that's got to be cleaned out, then rebolted, cleaned out, rebolted. Treads, 100% of these treads need to be rebolted. Any and all rust that's got to properly rest on a roof. There's a leg to the ground. That support channel to the ground, just got to put a couple of bolts in it so I don't have to verify that weld. Okay? Then down at the bottom it's in cement. Okay? So 100% of these treads just got rust. Painting is required, rust on all sides. Some bent treads. Those treads need to be bent so that there's no trip hazard. And then it's got to have a clear path to the outside. So if this is the clear path to the outside, it's missing a rail. You need a metal handrail blocking it so people don't run right out and fall on top of this car. And then once it stops down here, people can basically exit to the left. And in the parking lot, they can just get away to safety. Let's see if there's anything else on here. Some of these rails, the cement. Oh, yeah. Some of these rails, the water's getting in there and it's popping these. So, as you can see, I would tar these feet so that the water doesn't accumulate here and rot that foot out. And again, anything that's welded, I need a bolt pop through it. Anything that's got a bolt in it, that's part of the superstructure, I need rebolted because it's 50 to 75 years old. And all original hardware, square, original hardware. So a lot of these with the rust and the connection cannot be load tested in the as-is condition. So it needs to be rebolted. And again, usually in a 50 to 75 year life, rebolting has already occurred on this. If it hasn't, then that means this has been like this, just people just been painting it. So any questions, Farscape Engineers, Inspector Manessa's here. 800-649-3333, 800-649-3333.